The geopolitical chessboard of mid-2025 presents us with several disturbing developments that merit careful examination. Most pressing among these is the intensifying drumbeat for an Israeli strike against Iran's nuclear facilities, a situation that appears to be reaching a critical juncture. Intelligence reports suggest Israel may be mere days, perhaps even hours, from launching such an operation, ostensibly due to frustration with diplomatic efforts. Let us examine this situation with clear eyes. The fundamental assertion that diplomatic channels have been exhausted stands on remarkably shaky ground. We're still in the early phases of negotiations, and all parties ostensibly share the same objective: an Iran without nuclear weapons. The Russian government has even formally offered to serve as custodian for any enriched uranium Iran might relinquish as part of an agreement. All necessary conditions for a diplomatic resolution appear to be present. What, then, explains this rush toward military action? I submit that this has precious little to do with genuine security concerns, and far more with regional power dynamics, domestic political pressures within Israel, and lingering frustrations over the unresolved situation in Gaza. More fundamentally, this appears to be yet another manifestation of the perennial desire for regime change in Iran, a fixation that has distorted Western policy for decades. This fixation rests partly on a dangerous assumption that the Iranian political system is so universally reviled within Iran that an external strike would catalyze its collapse. While there's undoubtedly internal dissatisfaction with aspects of Iran's governance, such analysis woefully underestimates Iranian nationalism. History teaches us that external threats typically unify rather than fragment societies under pressure. A strike against Iran would likely strengthen the very government it aims to weaken, while unleashing unpredictable consequences throughout the region. Turning our attention eastward, we find the Russia-Ukraine conflict entering a new, potentially decisive phase. Russian forces continue to make significant territorial advances across multiple fronts. In the Sumy region, Ukrainian forces face increasing pressure, with supply routes to Unikovka apparently severed, a development that typically precedes withdrawal. The strategic village of Iranian near Pokrovsk appears close to falling, which would effectively cut major supply lines to Ukrainian forces. In the Nepo region, Russia's 90th Tank Division, now reinforced by an infantry brigade, continues its westward push. Perhaps most significantly, Russian forces are making progress in Zaporozhye, with advances toward Oryov that could eventually threaten Zaporozhye city itself. This pattern of operations bears striking resemblance to the deep battle doctrine developed by Soviet military theorists before World War II, using frontline forces to break enemy resistance before deploying reserve armies for deep penetration into enemy territory. President Zelensky has recently expressed concern that Russia's ultimate objective is to capture Odessa and Ukraine's entire Black Sea coastline, a development that would radically alter the strategic landscape of southeastern Europe. Yet simultaneously, Ukraine appears increasingly disinterested in negotiations, while continuing to conduct drone strikes deep into Russian territory that risk broader escalation. The American response to these developments reveals a fascinating evolution in policy. The current administration appears to be gradually disengaging from the conflict, with Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard explicitly warning about the risks of World War III. Secretary of State Rubio's recent message to Russia on their National Day was remarkably conciliatory, noting America's desire for constructive engagement with the Russian Federation to bring about a durable peace between Russia and Ukraine. This represents a dramatic departure from previous diplomatic language. The statement that the United States remains committed to supporting the Russian people as they continue to build on their aspirations for a brighter future would have been unimaginable from the previous administration. While partly diplomatic boilerplate, such language signals a potential recalibration of American foreign policy. What we're witnessing is the possible emergence of a new geopolitical order, one defined not by the unipolar moment of the post-Cold War era, but by regional powers asserting their interests with increasing confidence. Israel contemplates military action without clear American blessing. Russia advances its territorial objectives despite Western sanctions. And the United States appears to be recalculating its global commitments. The critical question before us is this. In this rapidly evolving landscape where established powers are reassessing their positions and regional actors are asserting greater autonomy, how can we construct diplomatic frameworks that acknowledge these new realities while still preventing the catastrophic consequences of unchecked military escalation?